Hey, it's Emily again. Welcome to part 2 of our AI series, How to Talk to AI. In this session, we'll cover how to write effective prompts, why context matters, how to refine AI outputs, and practical ways to apply this in your daily work. First, let's talk about what AI is and isn't. AI isn't a mind reader. It is a prediction tool. It looks at patterns in data and predicts what's most likely to come next. It basically just makes very educated guesses. And that's why the quality of your output depends on the clarity of your input. If you feed it vague instructions, you'll get vague results. If you give it clear, detailed directions, you'll get something much more useful. Most importantly, AI is assistive and it's not a replacement for human judgment. It can help you draft a safety bulletin, but it can't decide whether that bulletin is accurate or appropriate for our members, and that's where you come in. So, how do we make sure we give AI the kind of input it needs? Let's start with some basics. Prompting is the one thing you have control over, and when it comes to prompting, clarity is king. A vague prompt like, "Write me something about safety," will have an unfavorable output. The AI will try its hardest, but that prompt could mean almost anything. Did you mean safety in schools, or maybe workplace safety or food safety? Or maybe you wanted some safety tips for crossing the street with a llama. Instead, you could say something like, "Write a 300-word article for school principals about cyber safety in plain language with 3 key tips they can share with staff." That prompt has much more direction, and now the AI knows the topic, audience, tone, length, and structure, which means its predictions will be much closer to what you are needing. Another prompting tip is something called role framing. When you start with something like "act as a safety trainer" or "pretend you are a concerned parent," you're instantly shaping the voice and perspective the AI will use. This is a great way to make outputs feel more authentic and less generic. Humans love bullet points, numbered lists, and clear sections, and so does AI. If you want a step-by-step guide, tell it. If you need a template, ask for it. The more framework you provide, the less time you'll spend editing later. But giving the AI instructions is just the starting point. What makes those instructions even more powerful is the context you wrap them in. Context is like giving AI the backstory. If it knows why you need something, who the audience is, and the goal of the message, it can aim much closer to the mark. For example, say we're creating a risk management guide for district administrators. You might tell AI, "Write a 1-page guide for school district administrators on preparing for wildfire season," using a professional but reassuring tone. Now it knows the audience, the topic, the tone, and the purpose. You can also guide the output style. Maybe you want persuasive or maybe casual. You can also add constraints like word count. And if you have an example you love, share it. AI is great at mirroring style when it has something to copy. Once you've given it good context, the next step is learning how to work with AI in a back-and-forth way, because rarely does the first try come out perfect. It's important to treat AI like a collaborator. And the best results come from an ask, review, and refine cycle. Let's say AI gives you a draft newsletter blurb about student accident coverage. You might follow up with, "Make it shorter, but keep the important details and add a checklist." And here's a pro tip. You can ask AI what questions it has for you. It might come back with things like, "Who is the audience?" Or "Do you have a preferred style?" Those prompts can remind you to provide missing details you didn't even think about. And while AI can be great at collaboration and fine-tuning, AI can also help you break out of a creative rut. Because AI isn't just for serious, buttoned-up work, it can also spark fresh, creative ideas for our work with members. For example, you could ask, "What are 10 creative ways to engage school staff in safety training without adding to their workload?" Or, "Give me 5 unique ways to explain liability coverage to a new superintendent." And one of my personal favorite prompts is, "Explain it like I'm 7." This incredibly simple and useful prompt addition is great for breaking down complex topics like risk pooling, workers' comp claims, or ADA compliance into plain, relatable language. If AI can make a 7-year-old understand it, chances are your audience will too. The point isn't that we'll use every quirky version it gives us, but that these exercises spark ideas we can adapt into real communications. And of course, not every AI output is ready for prime time. AI can be confidently wrong, so always fact check before you share. Never paste insensitive or confidential information, especially anything tied to a district, student, or staff member. And remember, AI supports expertise. It doesn't replace it. The first draft is just the starting line. The real value comes when you apply your knowledge to refine, adapt, and approve the final version. So, let's recap. AI is fast, creative, and eager to help, but it needs guidance. The better you prompt, the better the results you'll get. And don't be afraid to experiment. Some of the best AI discoveries happen when you're just curious and willing to try something new. And don't forget to stay tuned for part 3, where we'll take everything you've learned here and put it into real-world examples you can use in your day-to-day work.